Hi, okay, this video is part 2 of the last video I filmed, which is all about naming your computer files. And I explained some basic tips in that video, so if you just want to know how to organize your files better, then I would watch that video. But if you really want to create an entire system for all your files and folders on your computer, on your flash drive, then this is a great way to do it. I've done a lot of research to figure out how exactly my computer works, and I've really fine-tuned the system so that it works with my computer and not against it, which is the key, right? So the way that I organize my files is based on categories of very broad to very specific, okay? So when I open up my flash drive, I have a list of files, and they're just organized by subject. They're not in alphabetical order, they're just in order of subject. And I actually put the number, underscore, and then the subject name, just because I like to keep all my files in the same order. And if you don't put numbers in them, they'll just do it alphabetically, and every time you put in a new folder, it will put it somewhere in the middle or at the top, and you'll be able to find it. I like knowing that my newest folder is always at the bottom. So on the most broad level, I have these subjects, and they're named 0001 underscore design, okay? And the reason I do 4 zeros is because I like knowing that I can have up to 1 million files and they'll stay in order. I've never gotten past, I think like 2,000 is the highest I've gotten to, and that was on a really big project. So I like doing that because I know that it will always work. So let's go inside the design file now that we're here. This is where it starts to get a little bit more specific. Within the design file, I organize things again by subject and by number. So I have 0001 underscore social media graphics, 0002 underscore invitations, and so on and so forth. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. I actually create a 3-letter abbreviation for each subject. So for social media, I use SOM. The first 2 letters of the first word and the first letter of the second word. If it's 3 words or more, I just do the first letter of the first 3 words, okay? Or the first 3 letters of the one word if there's just one. And I include that right after social media underscore SOM, okay? And that comes to play a little bit later. So let's go inside the social media folder, and I'll explain how I label the files in there. Now, it's important to note that once I get inside my social media folder, I don't have folders, I just have files, okay? And this is where the system really comes into play. I love this part. So, you're inside the social media folder, and I have a file, and it's some icons that I made for a blog. So, there are a bunch of social media icons. How do I name them? This is important. You always name your files by date. The reason for this is that your computer will organize files first chronologically and second alphabetically. This means that if I have a file that has numbers in it, it will be ahead of a file that has letters in it, no matter what the numbers are, okay? And so for that reason, I label things by date. I use the year first so that it keeps all of 2015 together and then all of 2016. If you don't label by year, you might want to separate your folders based on year, because otherwise you'll have all of the 3s, meaning all of the Marches, next to each other instead of March and then April. Does that make sense? Here's how it works. I use, well, my hand's really big. I use 2015 underscore the month, which I do as 01, that way it keeps it in order, underscore, and then the day, okay? Once I have my date, I do another underscore, and this is where I use the 3-letter abbreviation that I talked about in the outside folder. So I would do SOM underscore. I mentioned in my previous video that you should never use capitalization or spaces, and that's just because every computer recognizes letters and spaces differently, and this way your files will always look the same on every single computer, every single program, etc. So far we have our date, underscore, our 3-letter abbreviation, and then we have another underscore, and then this is just the name. So this would be Facebook icon, okay? Then we have another underscore, version, which I abbreviate to V01, okay? And the reason for that is because you never know how many versions there's going to be, and like I said, you should never name your files as final because it will never be the final file and you'll be confused between which one is the lighter blue and which one is the circle one. And this way, if you just do version, you can always know that the last version is the most updated. Sorry. Okay, so you with me so far? The reason that I use the abbreviation instead of just saying social media is because your file name is already really long. If you wanted to just use social media, you absolutely could. I find that it's so long, and that as long as I include the abbreviation with the original name in the outside folder, my computer recognizes it just fine, okay? So that's the complicated way. If you want a simplified version, what you could do is the date, instead of including 2015, 01, 27, whatever, you could just do it month_day, okay? And then you would have a separate folder for 2015, 2014, 2013, etc., okay? You could also, and this is not recommended, but you could also just do the date, underscore, and then the name, okay? So you could just do Facebook social icon. Okay, and that works. The reason that we have the system is it's twofold, okay? So one is to help you know how to name your files when you're making them and how to find them when you are doing it. Like, you click on the outside folder, then the inside folder, then the folder inside that, and then you find your file, right? Okay? Well, if you do it my way, you don't have to click through every folder. You can just type search, okay? And I know that nobody does this on their computer, because it doesn't work, because we haven't organized our files in a way that makes it work. But if you, sorry, I feel like I'm getting too excited. But if you name your files this way, you don't have to dig into your folders and find them. You can, but you can also just search, okay? So I want, oh, what is it? I want that birthday invitation for my friend Sarah. Oh, hi Sarah. Search on my computer. INB birthday, and it will pop right up, okay? Your computer has a great system, but you need to know how to work with it, okay? So that pretty much sums up how I organize my files. I always recommend doing things by version. The only time I wouldn't is if you're not doing revisions, and if you do, you can just use the date and it will keep them in order. But this way, nothing is ever lost, nothing is ever confusing, and it actually makes things a lot faster because when I'm creating a file, I don't have to think, oh, what is this? How should I name this? I just know. I start with the date, what's the category? Even if it's a new category, I can think like, oh, this is, let's see, like this is labels, okay? LAB underscore, then the title, and then I just make a new folder called labels. So no matter where your files are in this crazy system, you can start with this today and it will simplify everything. So I'm going to put some screenshots of my computer down below or whatever so you can see them, and if anything doesn't make sense, you should let me know. Okay, thanks, bye!